What up, Sauce Gang? It's been a little bit since I've uploaded. Today I just want to do kind of more of a simpler video. I'm going to be talking about a more obscure game on the GameCube that I discovered through, I guess you'd say, like the YouTube weird game rabbit hole, where you just kind of, it kind of starts with LSD Dream Emulator and then you end up at, JFK Reloaded. Well, somewhere in there is the game we're talking about today. It's not controversial, really, or anything. It's a little strange for Nintendo published, maybe co-developed, I think. I could be wrong on that. It was made by Nintendo and Param, I believe. Param, I'm not sure. It was originally developed for the Nintendo 64 disk drive add-on, the most obscure fucking console that nobody has. It was made for that thing. And, it probably did fine on that console that didn't do fine. But eventually it ended up getting ported to the GameCube. And basically, in the GameCube era, some games just really didn't get that many games printed. So Nintendo basically had a competition. So they had Cubivore, and then the game I'm talking about today. And North America ended up with Cubivore, and Europe and Japan ended up with Doshin the Giant, which is kind of like a God Simulator game for GameCube and Nintendo 64 disk drive. It's wild. It's pretty strange, but I really enjoy the game. It's a pretty fun game that I've actually played a lot of over the years, and I definitely do enjoy it in a way that's different than other games. It has a very nice, peaceful atmosphere, and I just wanted to talk about it, so let's get into the gameplay. Alright, so to start with the gameplay, you spawn on the island with the other islands around it. It's like this little archipelago where there's a totem. There's just a big totem that's a big stick in the ground, and that's where Doshin will spawn at, which is the name of the giant. And pretty much you just wander around the island and do as you please. You'll discover that there are villages that are of different tribes. There's 4. There's the red, green, blue, and yellow, which they're just different colored people that are in different areas. And you'll discover that these people want you to do certain things for them, like level the ground or move trees around, which the trees are useful for carrying energy, and this energy is helpful for them to build houses and prevents natural disasters and such. Essentially, green energy is important, and it's important to regulate the amount of trees you have because trees will die. And you can take the trees and put them in a circle, and basically all of the trees that you put in a circle will die, and then more trees will grow in their place, more than you place, along with a flower. And the flower is important for something that we will get to in a moment, which is the villages. Okay, so it's time to talk about the villages now. The villages are just consistent of either a single tribe or different combinations of tribes. And when the villages reach a certain point, they will construct a monument. And usually they will just construct a really boring monument. But if you make the flower, like we just talked about, you can give it to them and they will make a much, much prettier monument. And that's what you want. You want 16 total monuments, which you'd think is a little bit difficult considering there's only 1 monument per tribe. So each tribe has a unique monument. There's only 4, so how are you supposed to get 16? Well, you have to create new villages from all the tribes. So you can take a man from one tribe and a woman from another tribe, and you just put them somewhere that's far enough away from any other tribe or village, and they will make their own tribe, their own village, whatever. And it'll consist of the 2 colors they came from. And I guess you could bring a man and a woman from the other tribe, from the same tribe, but that's not what you want to do. You want to create the unique color combinations, so there's 16 total, and you can have up to all 4, so red, green, blue, and yellow, can all live amongst each other, and they have a unique monument. So each color combination has a unique monument, and the goal is to get all 16 of them. So just move the people around, make them happy enough that their village grows, and then you can have all the monuments, which is essentially the end game. Okay, so the final part that we're going to talk about with the gameplay is making the giant grow. So there's 2 ways of going about this, I guess technically 3, but we'll just go on with it. The first way is to do what the villagers ask of you. If they want a tree, you bring them a tree. If they want this area raised up in the air, you raise it in the air. If they want some water over here, you lower it. You know, you just do essentially what they're requesting at that time. And you'll get love for it, which goes in a clockwise around the screen with hearts. And whenever that fills all the way up, you grow a little bit bigger. So that's how you essentially kind of progress through the day, is you just want to kind of grow as big as you can in that day by doing all of these nice things. But there's a second way you can grow, which is by doing really mean things. And by hitting the L button, you can turn into, I believe it's Doshin. It's the evil giant. It's Doshin, who normally looks like a Roblox character, but really elongated and with an odd belly button placement. He's replaced with a devilish version. So he has wings, and he's also got some weird magical powers, and the villagers really don't like that. So they give you hate, and this hate fills up counterclockwise around the screen with little skull emojis. And essentially, that will also make you grow. You can't meet halfway in the middle and grow. You have to go all the way around, one way or the other. And that's how you grow. And the third way that I mentioned earlier is that there's these boxes that are just randomly placed around the world at different times. And essentially, they can be full of a bunch of hearts or skulls that will partially fill up your circle, which can make it grow. But those are more or less random events that just play into the whole hate, love to grow. So that's how you grow Doshin. That's essentially the gist of like the physical gameplay. Alright, so time to get kind of more of the reason why I play this game and why I actually enjoy this game a lot is mostly just kind of the feel you get from this game, and I guess kind of the lore, as weird as that is to say. This game is very, like, spiritual, I want to say. It's like, essentially the giant is a god to these villagers, right? So, the villagers are like, they think very different things of him, and like, it almost feels like you're serving them in a way, but also, like, they're kind of insignificant. You can just kind of do as you please, and the game kind of encourages you to just kind of do whatever you want. And each morning, when the sun comes up, the giant will come out of the water, and then will, come onto the island and, shake the land and do all of this fun mythological stuff, or get very angry and wrathful and, destroy their villages to make them grow bigger and better than they were before. And then whenever the sun sets, Doshin goes back into the ocean and he, I guess, dies. Because another giant that is Doshin, but it's a different giant because it's smaller, everything's reset, like About You. The village will continue to progress. But Doshin will be anew again in the next morning. And he's also in the constellations, which is really nice. So, like, at night they see him, like, in the stars, looking down upon them. And it also gives you a list of, like, things that they're saying about you. And half the time they're just talking shit. There's one that's basically like, I'm glad you're dead. It's pretty much just that. Sometimes they just say some goofy stuff, or sometimes they're like, oh, you need to take a break, or, oh man, you're so cool, or, man, you're not even that big. You're not even a giant. So they'll just say some fun stuff like that. And it just has a very peaceful kind of vibe. It has really nice music, and I think it's a great game to play whenever you want to relax at the end of the day. It's just got a really nice peaceful energy, and it's just very fun, and it's just, I don't know, it's like a comfort food video game, a comfort game. That it's a really good way to, like, end the day and, make a little bit of progress on your island and have a little bit of weird, zany stuff go on while you're there. So that's pretty much about what I wanted to talk about with this game. The gameplay, the reasons I like it, its story, its lore, whatever you want to call it, and just that it's kind of a weird, fun, bizarre game that's not really talked about. It's definitely pretty niche, and I'd recommend you check it out if you haven't played it. If you speak English like me, which you probably do if you're watching this, you can really only play the European version of the game, because that's the only one with an English option. It's the only version of the game with an English version. could play the N64 DD version, but that's only in Japanese, which, I mean, I'm sure you'd get an equivalent experience, and that is the platform it was built for, so that might be cool, but I can't read Japanese, so it's just not quite right for me. But anyway, if you liked the video, like, subscribe. If you didn't, dislike it. Anyway, that's about it. See ya.